What's going on, everybody? It's Ted again here with the CountdownCityGeeks.com, and I got a very special interview. This is going to be my first official San Diego Comic Con interview of 2024, and it is with the writer, director, and one of the stars of the upcoming movie, Tim Travelers and the Time Traveler's Paradox, Stimson Snead. How's it going, sir?
It's going good. Nice to see you, Ted. Thanks for having me here.
This movie is so much fun. It's so quirky. It's hilarious. And I feel like it's the perfect time to come out because, Back to the Future is just so nostalgic. Rick and Morty took that whole time travel concept to new heights. And this is sort of a refreshing take on like how good or bad things can go when messing with time. Tell me the inspiration behind putting this film together.
Well, the inspiration comes from me wanting to deal with ideas I find interesting. So, first, I'm going to push back on one thing. Rick and Morty is a multiverse show. They do not time travel.
You
Tim
are
Travers
correct.
is a time travel show. We do not multiverse. In fact,
You
we
are correct.
do not like multiverses in that movie. We make fun of them a lot. But like Rick and Morty, this is a movie that is about ideas. And
Right.
the main ideas it's fascinated with are the real world implications of time travel. Now, all of you probably know time travel is impossible, but the reasons it's impossible are fascinating. And I really wanted to do a film that could dig into those reasons, the real theory behind it, and try to make that as fun as possible. So, like, the Rick and Morty connection is spot on, but this is a film that also has a lot of seeds with things like Futurama, Red Dwarf, if you know shows like that, Mission to Zix, if you know that incredible show. This is very much that sci-fi comedy that wants to deal with actual ideas. In fact, the whole film was born of me being at a film festival and seeing another time travel film and hating it.
Ooh, wow.
Nothing breeds creativity like profound hatred.
I love it. I love it. You have a fantastic co-star, someone who I've had the pleasure of moderating a panel for, Felicia Day, who's just so wonderful. She's so sweet and she's just hilarious.
Oh my
It,
God.
it must have been amazing kind of collaborating with her on this project.
Oh, absolutely. And collaboration is the word. Felicia wasn't just an actor in this. She was one of the executive producers on the film and has been closely involved through production and post-production. And now as we're out there trying to sell the film, Felicia has been wonderful and also someone who I've been wanting to work with for 15 years. I was
Oh,
making web series back at the same time that she was. The crucial difference between her web series and mine was that hers were good and successful, and mine were bad and failures. But 15 years, better late than never. Finally got
better
to work
late
with
than
her. Better late than ever. Check that one off the old bucket list.
absolutely. You got a few things to check off the old bucket list. You're working with stars like Keith David here,
Oh my God,
Nicole
he's such a
Sam.
kind man.
Oh my gosh, Sam Dunning, who I cannot fathom how you pitched this movie to him, and he just willingly accepted it. But talk to us about Sam and his performance.
Well, I had a trick for how I kind of pitched it to Sam when I first met him and I offered him the role. Basically, he thought, oh, I get to do a one-man show on a short film. What actor doesn't love that? So he was on board. And the way I pitched him the feature was basically I just decided to do the feature and said, here's the script, you're going to be doing this.
I just assumed it involved a lot of alcohol or something one night, and he
I'm
just like,
I'm sure once he read it, there was a lot of alcohol involved.
oh my goodness. How challenging is it to? And I'm not going to get into any details about this because I would love the audience to go in completely blind. So I'm trying to phrase this question, but
In a time travel movie, we see a lot of different Tims. That's not a spoiler, that's in the trailers. You're going to see a lot of Tims.
how challenging is it to kind of keep the canon going and trying to remember which characters are doing what, the experiences? Is there somebody in charge of that? Is it all
Yes,
just in
we
your
have a
head, kind
wonderful
of?
script supervisor. So in the writing of it, it's easy to keep
Ooh,
track of because you think of them as different characters. It's
I
just
gotcha.
pretend that one is named Steve instead of Tim. So the writing is easy. It's just different characters who happen to all look the same. The filming of it is a nightmare. One, every time you have a split screen, you're not filming a shot once, you're filming it however many times there is a Tim in that shot, which when
Wow.
you're working on a limited schedule can make it where you can spend half your day on one shot
Wow.
setup wise. But but Justin, our script supervisor, was absolutely fantastic. He tracked where each and every Tim was across the entire film. So which group of Tims would be here, which ones were hanging out when last we saw them. They're all wearing name tags in the film, and you can track without plot holes the progress of every Tim in this movie right up to the end.
That is
And that's
remarkable.
all Justin. And the way Sam did it is he would half the time not even bother checking which Tim. He would memorize each Tim. And then as we're about to roll camera, he would just be like, wait, am I the mean one or am I the stupid one in this scene? You're the stupid one. Okay, got it. And he would jump into that line.
Dear Lord, it's hilarious. Oh my
So like
God.
what he would do is he would have to like, so if let's say we got Delta Tim, Zeta Tim, and Gamma Tim hanging out in a scene, he would memorize all three as though they were different characters. So that
That
when
is
we told him
remarkable.
Zeta, he would just go into Zeta's lines. When we told him Gamma, he would go into Gamma's lines. And we had an entire other actor named David Babbitt also playing Tim Travers there. So whenever we're doing the split screen, it's not Sam reading opposite of nothing or reading opposite a script supervisor, Justin offset. There was an entire other actor delivering a full performance in full costume to Sam, just to keep him immersed in it acting wise. And that's
That
David Babbitt.
that must have been tremendously helpful for Sam. I would imagine.
Babbitt is the unsung hero of this production. We actually credit him in the credits as Beta Tim Travers, and we put him in the role of the coffee delivery boy just so the audience could see his actual face.
Okay, that makes perfect sense now. That's wonderful. Kudos to you guys for getting him that credit. That's fantastic.
He's
What
a
about
great
you?
actor, and he and Sam had a wonderful rapport together on set. And as you know, with this film, the chemistry required between some of the Tims really, you need a lot of chemistry there to sell some of what we do in this film.
Oh yeah, absolutely. What about your character? When did you know you were going to write yourself in this film?
I had a sneaking feeling I was going to do it when I was writing it because I did kind of think of myself for the character, although I did end up holding auditions for it. Ultimately, though, the reason I felt the need to cast myself was purely a casting couch situation. I did disgusting things to get that role from myself.
Please mention that during your panel at San Diego Comic-Con. That's gonna be fantastic for the room.
Oh,
They're
don't
gonna
worry.
love that.
That's one of my canned jokes. Like that. But I'd love to say that was organic and natural. No, that's one of my canned responses because I like it too much. Although every time I've said it in front of Felicia or Sam, you could just see the other actor just sort of going like, "Stimson, shut up."
Oh my gosh. You know what? As soon as you had Felicia like cursing nonstop in this movie, I was already sold. I'm like, oh my God, this is gonna be the greatest ride ever.
Well,
She's just so great in her delivery of all those curse words.
Well, it's one of those things where one of the things I love to do in casting, especially if you're getting the good fortune to work with a well-known actor,
Yeah.
is to cast against type. We definitely do
Yes.
that with Felicia, and we do that with every single one of our celebrity roles in this. They are playing against type. Like I would say Joel McHale is the closest to his traditional role, except that Joel is typically making other people look foolish on screen, whereas here we really let Tim Travers lay into Joel. And you could tell he was having fun with it on set because it's
Did,
so often the reverse.
did you try and keep the dialogue of Tim's away from Joel so that he would have a kind of a more genuine reaction to it?
That's the sort of thing that you only really have the luxury of doing if you are a big successful director. In this case, this was very much Mr. McHale doing us a great service of being willing to work with a bunch of indie guys. And I got to say, that's not just true of Joel, that's Felicia, that's Keith, that's Danny Trejo. All of these guys really came out to support a very tiny, small indie production that was probably beneath them out of the goodness of that of their hearts, out of their desire to support indie filmmakers, and out of their affection for the script. So I was so grateful to have them. But part of the trade-off of that is no, they've definitely read that script cover to cover before they've ever said yes to doing this. They got a reputation. the kindness can only go so far. They got to make sure this is a script that they actually respect. So Joel was intimate with every line of that thing before he ever set foot on our set.
That's another box you got to check off. Working with the legendary Danny Trejo, who I first saw in, I guess, Mariachi. What was that movie? Oh my gosh, Desperado. Desperado is probably the first time I ever saw him. But the legend, he's probably got like 1,000 acting
Easily.
credits. What was it like to have Danny on set? I'm sure he was a gem. But tell us what it's like to collaborate and work with him.
Just an absolute pleasure on set. This is a guy where he walks on set. He already knows what he's doing so clearly because he knows the type of character he plays so well. I'm pretty sure he could do these lines in his sleep and probably has talked in his sleep a lot just from the number of roles he does. But no, he walks on set and he is and what people don't know about Danny Trejo, in addition to just being a wonderful professional and a
Yeah,
wonderful screen presence, is what an incredibly sweet man he is. He is just the kindest, most easy to get along with, nice guy you've ever spoken to in your life, and just an absolute pleasure to have on set. One of those guys who really makes a director like me feel at ease.
I
In
love
fact, it's
hearing
true
that.
of really all the actors and them all being my bucket list actors. My going back to Joel, my first paying job on a Hollywood set, my very first job was doing background on an episode of Community.
Oh wow,
So having my boss from all those years ago, who could have had me fired on a whim, working for me on Tim Travers, that was a head trip for me to wrap my head around.
that is wild. That is absolutely wild. Have you been to San Diego before?
Several times, usually for Comic-Con. This is my first time attending Comic-Con as a formal guest of Comic-Con, which is another thing for the old bucket list. The bucket list is getting really short. I can die now.
Pretty close. Not till after the panel though. It's probably a dream come true for you to actually be a panelist at the what I call the center of the universe. San Diego Comic Con is unlike anything else. I try and explain that to people, but it's hard to put into words just how magnificent and how widespread it is across the city. What are you most looking forward to being on that stage, to being with your castmates and everyone else, and being in front of that crowd?
I'm looking forward to just engaging with the audience and being on that stage and just trying to enjoy the moment. I've been a Comic-Con attendee for years. This is a first for me, and it is such a strange sense of being on the other side of the table. Let it go in the frickin', let alone in the frickin' Indigo room on the opening night. Uh, I know Comic-Con is very selective about how they pick the stuff that gets to do these panels. And I remember my producers telling me about this a few months ago, like, hey, we're going to look into making this happen. And I'm like, all right, guys, you do that. You do that,
Sure.
Ben. Don't
Yeah.
let don't let me tread on your dreams. Yeah, this is never gonna fucking
I'll keep
happen.
my phone by my bedside just in
Yeah.
case.
It's like I literally wrote it off because it's just like, you know what? I don't want to be the guy who discourages foe. You go for it, guys. And then I find out about a month ago, and it's like, holy shit, what? This is real? I was amazed.
What is
And
this
then
life?
instantly terrifying. Like I'm honestly doing my best not to think too hard about it because having been to so many of these as an attendee, it I mean, this is scary shit, man. This is intimidating. This is an audience full of people who have never heard of my movie or me, who are going to be there because they want to say hi to Doug Jones and Felicia Day, and just me off to the side going, I'm also here. This is scary.
I think it's gonna go perfectly fine. There's nothing to worry about. It kind of just takes care of itself. Everybody's already there. Everybody's in a great mood. Everyone's excited. Everyone's cheering. It's gonna be a blast.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I love asking folks. So you've been an attendee for many years now. Do you have a favorite moment? I know it's hard to pick one, but like, what's the quintessential moment, experience you've had at Comic Con that you can't ever forget about?
Oh, I can't talk about most of it because my quintessential Comic-Con moments are the after parties after the floor shuts down in the evening and some of the stuff I've gotten up to.
Uh oh. Uh oh.
The best moments. are the ones you can't talk about on a podcast.
Absolutely. Let's go with that one. Thanks for taking time to meet with me, Stimson. The panel is going to be fantastic. You're going to be joined with Felicia, David, and Nicole. I feel like it's going to be a blast.
Absolute blast. And we've got Doug Jones there moderating for us. So all of our minds are just.
For more information, please go to San Diego Comic Con, the website. You could also follow Stimson. Stimson, where can the people at home follow you at?
You can find us at Tim Travers the Movie on Instagram, which links to all of the other sources we have about us, including all the reviews where you can find tickets for upcoming festivals and screenings. So just, yeah, go to the Instagram. Tim Travers the Movie.
There you go. We can't wait. It was hilarious. It was so witty. I loved it. And like I mentioned earlier, it's Felicia Day cursing nonstop. And who wouldn't want to see that? Stimson, thank you so much again for taking time to meet with me today. Congrats on to you, to the cast, to the crew, all your success. And I cannot wait to hear about how the panel went. Good luck to you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ted.